to the result of this if statement. That means that the last material is going to contain the object material if that material is a ray trace material, and is going to be assigned undefined if it's anything else. Having this, and outside of all the attempts to intersect with scene objects, at this point we already have a last surface color, which is either the background if we never hit anything, or the last shaded point. Now we can take the surface color variable, which is now visible to this function, but is a local variable in the topmost scope of the script. And we're going to modify it by taking its current value and multiplying it by the color calculated as the white color minus the reflection parameter that was passed to the function. And we'll add to this color the last surface color calculated multiplied by the reflection color. This means that if we shoot an initial ray through the scene and we don't pass the optional parameter for the reflection value is white. That means that the last surface color multiplied by white remains the same color, and the white minus white gives black, which turns the surface color to 0, and the final result of the surface color is the last surface color itself. But if we are performing multiple ray tracing intersections, and we already have one color stored in the surface color, which is, for example, the first color calculated on the surface, then the surface has a ray trace material, and the new secondary ray is being shot away from that point, and it intersects another color. And if the reflection color is given as, let's say, medium gray, like 127, 127, 127, then the result is going to be 50% of the last surface color, that's the surface that we first hit, plus 50% of the reflection color. And the result is going to be a mix. That means we're going to see both half the color of the surface that was initially hit and half the color of the reflection. Let's see how we're going to perform this ray tracing of the reflections. We're going to check if the last intersection is undefined or not. If it's not undefined, and the last material is not undefined, which means, of course, that the last material was a ray trace material, and an additional test for the iteration counter, which is going to be set to 0 before each initial ray is shot through the scene. If the iteration counter is below a certain threshold, let's set it to 3 at this point. This is the ray trace depth at this point. In this case, we're going to increment the iterations count plus 1. Then we're going to calculate the reflection vector at the surface point. We're going to use the same function as discussed in the font shading chapter. That means we're going to take the dot product of the surface normal. This is the last intersection's first element direction vector, and the view ray direction, but taken with a negative sign, since the view ray is going from the eye to the surface, but we need a vector that is pointing exactly in the opposite direction from the surface point into the eye. This dot product taken twice, then multiplied by the surface normal, and normally we would have to subtract the view ray from the surface into the eye, and since we get